Unit 9. Her fug cosm sci junct part Ms. Pell. Her comes from the Latin verb herere, meaning to stick. Another form of the verb produces the root hes dash, seen in such words as adhesive, which means basically sticky or sticking, and hesitate, which means more or less stuck in one place. Adherent, 1. Someone who follows a leader, a party, or a profession. 2. One who believes in a particular philosophy or religion. The general's adherents heavily outnumbered his opponents and managed to shout them down repeatedly. Just as tape adheres to paper, a person may adhere to a cause, a faith, or a belief. Thus, you may be an adherent of Hinduism, an adherent of environmentalism, or an adherent of the Republican Party. A plan for cutting taxes always attracts adherents easily, regardless of what the cuts may result in. Cohere, to hold together firmly as parts of the same mass. His novels never really cohere, the chapters always seem like separate short stories. When you finish writing a paper, you may feel that it coheres well, since it's sharply focused and all the ideas seem to support each other. When all the soldiers in an army platoon feel like buddies, the platoon has become a cohesive unit. In science class, you may learn the difference between cohesion, the tendency of a chemical's molecules to stick together, and adhesion, the tendency of the molecules of two different substances to stick together. Water molecules tend to cohere, so water falls from the sky in drops, not as separate molecules. But water molecules also adhere to molecules of other substances, so raindrops will often cling to the underside of a clothesline for a while before gravity pulls them down. Incoherent, 1. Unclear or difficult to understand. 2. Loosely organized or inconsistent. The police had found him in an abandoned warehouse, and they reported that he was dirty, hungry, and incoherent. Incoherent is the opposite of coherent, and both commonly refer to words and thoughts. Just as coherent means well-ordered and clear, incoherent means disordered and hard to follow. Incoherence in speech may result from emotional stress, especially anxiety or anger. Incoherence in writing may simply result from poor planning. A 12-page term paper that isn't written until the night before it's due will generally suffer from incoherence. Inherent part of something by nature or habit. A guiding belief behind our Constitution is that individuals have certain inherent rights that can't be taken away. Inherent literally refers to something that is stuck in something else so firmly that they can't be separated. A plan may have an inherent flaw that will cause it to fail. A person may have inherent virtues that everyone admires. Since the flaw and the virtues can't be removed, the plan may simply have to be thrown out and the person will remain virtuous forever. Fug comes from the Latin verb fugere, meaning to flee or escape. Thus, a refugee flees from some threat or danger, while a fugitive is usually fleeing from the law. Centrifugal, moving outward from a center or central focus. Their favorite carnival ride was the roundup, in which centrifugal force flattened them against the outer wall of a rapidly spinning cage. Centrifugal force is what keeps a string with a ball on the end taut when you whirl it around. A centrifuge is a machine that uses centrifugal force. At the end of a washing machine cycle, it becomes a weak and simple centrifuge as it whirls the water out of your clothes. Centrifuges hundreds of thousands of times as powerful are essential to nuclear technology and drug manufacturing. Part of an astronaut's training occurs in a centrifuge that generates force equal to several times the force of gravity, about like a washing machine, to get them used to the forces they'll encounter in a real space mission. Refuge, shelter or protection from danger or distress, or a place that provides shelter or protection. Caught in a storm by surprise, they took refuge in an abandoned barn. The re in refuge means basically back or backward rather than again, CRE. Thus, a refugee is someone who is fleeing backward. Refuge tends to appear with certain other words. You generally seek refuge, take refuge, or find refuge. Religion may be a refuge from the woes of your life, a beautiful park may be a refuge from the noise of the city, and your bedroom may be a refuge from the madness of your family. Fugue, a musical form in which a theme is echoed and imitated by voices or instruments that enter one after another and interweave as the piece proceeds. For his debut on the church's new organ, the organist chose a fugue by J.S. Bach. Bach and Handel composed many fugues for harpsichord and organ in which the various parts, or voices, seem to flee from and chase each other in an intricate dance. Each part, after it has stated the theme or melody, apparently flees from the next part, which takes up the same theme and sets off in pursuit. Simple rounds such as Three Blind Mice or Row, Row, Row Your Boat could be called fugues for children, but a true fugue can be long and extremely complex.